atmospheric gases to form corresponding compounds. Okay, and these compounds formed can be hydrated or non-hydrated compounds. If electrolytes or moisture is present, then they form hydrated compounds, and the type of corrosion is called as wet corrosion. In the absence of moisture or electrolyte, the corrosion that is happening to metals is called as dry corrosion. Okay, and why the metals are undergoing corrosion is the first question. Metals are undergoing corrosion because metals are not available in the pure state on the earth. They are always available in the combined state as ores. Okay, the ores you are seeing, ores are the oxidized states of metal. That means they are in the combined state. And we start extracting pure metal using various metallurgical operations. Okay, and the pure metal, after undergoing all metallurgical operations, is now very less stable, because any system which is having higher energy is obviously less stable, and it quickly shows a tendency to undergo corrosion. Okay, and hence is the description. Okay, so this is what all we have discussed in yesterday's class, and we have also discussed about the various types of dry corrosion that is happening. Okay, so that's the description. So corrosion begins at the surface of the metal. The ore is at less energy, and it contains the impure metal, which is in the combined state, and using various metallurgical operations, we'll try to get the pure metal out. During these operations, lot of energy is being supplied, and hence the pure metal is in the less stable condition. So it quickly undergoes corrosion to form the combined compounds. Okay, and the reactions are spontaneous. And what we have to always remember is that corrosion is an oxidation process. It's a spontaneous reaction happening in which the entire metal, the pure metal without any corrosion, is all cathode. Okay, wherever the corrosion is taking place, all those sites or places on that pure metal will act as anode. Okay, and undergo corrosion. Okay, and what I have already explained to you in detail is that when pure metal is undergoing oxidation and is forming metal ion, it starts reacting with the atmospheric gases present around it. Air contains many gases, okay, in which the metal has a definite affinity towards a particular gas, and hence the corresponding compounds. Means, I have yesterday told you, copper has more affinity towards carbon dioxide, whereas silver has more towards H2S or Cl2, that is sulfur-based compounds or halide compounds. Whereas iron has a lot of affinity for oxygen. In fact, oxygen is present more in air, and hence usually major type of corrosion with any metal is oxidation. That means metal oxides are the commonly found corrosion products. Okay, and here's the discussion. So I can classify corrosion into two types depending upon whether the electrolyte is present. That means moisture is present or not. And hence, when I'm talking about the types of corrosion, it depends whether the moisture is present or not. Okay, that is presence of electrolyte. Okay, and the classification is into two types: dry or chemical corrosion, in which there is direct interaction of metal with the atmospheric gases in the absence of moisture or electrolyte. Whereas in wet corrosion or electrochemical corrosion, reaction of metal with the atmospheric gases takes place in the presence of solvents or moisture. Okay, so that's the main classification. Okay, and our discussion goes around and around this subject alone. Okay, and we have further introduced ourselves to further classification of dry or chemical corrosion, in which Oxygen being the most commonly available gas in that's a major gas, reactive gas present. Usually, most of the metals undergo corrosion, forming oxides. Metal oxides are the common corrosion products, and hence is studied as a separate subhead like oxidative corrosion, in which metal reacts with oxygen to form metal oxide as a corrosion product. But there are other corrosion products like other gases, like just now we have discussed, silver chloride, tin chloride are all commonly formed corrosion products. And liquid metal corrosion is the type of corrosion that takes place when a liquid metal is corroding a solid material, particularly in the metallurgical operations when the ore is in the molten state and is flown on the machinery. Okay, they will carry away the top layer of the machinery, and the type of corrosion suffered by the machinery is called as liquid metal corrosion. Okay, we'll study these points in depth today and we'll conclude the dry corrosion topic right now. Okay, so is the discussion. Now, roll number 82. Good morning.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Yeah. Did you decide on the topic? You have to give presentation. You should do it all. Okay. So what I want to just suggest to you all is that, say, listen to me. Please decide topics for presentation. And because we have already gone into the second phase, that is first mid is over and second mid is on, I'd suggest that you can extend your topic of selection to all the chapters that is present in the syllabus. Hope the syllabus is given to you, and please check. You can diversify your presentation to the entire syllabus. Okay, because in another 1 month time we are going to finish, and hence I want you, all of you, to divide the syllabus and make presentations. Please pull yourself into 2 or 3 in a batch and do the presentations. And it should be an cumulative activity, means not single topic is explained by everyone. No, the entire syllabus has to be covered. So this needs a little bit of interaction. That's what is the beginning of you to interact with your friends and get a meaningful conclusion. Here begins the team activity. Okay, I hope your CR is very active. Take his help and you don't bother him. He's also just like you.
Cover entire syllabus or any topic from the syllabus, ma'am?
Any topic from the syllabus. That's what exactly I am trying to tell you all.
Okay. How many slides or we should prepare, ma'am?
Yes, please.
How many slides, minimum slides?
How many slides? I've told you it's a 5 minutes presentation. Okay, 5 minutes presentation.
Okay, ma'am.
How many is your choice? Like few make it very pictorial and they will explain in a presentation. Or the slides are very informative all by themselves. Either of the things. But the right way of doing a PPT presentation, so by this time you are very well versed how a PPT should be. After studying so much subject on online sessions, what you might have realized, if this presentation would have been like this, it would have been much better. Obviously, a slide cannot speak the entire content, is it not? Okay. You should speak the content and the slide should show the concept of what you are presenting. And it should be more pictorial so that it can catch the attention of the viewer. Okay. This is what I wanted to tell every
Ma'am,
one
but
of you.
entire syllabus should be covered, ma'am.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm exactly going to tell. Listen to me. This is what I want to tell. It's like now because week after week I'll be finishing away with the syllabus. Okay, and fuels are not unknown, is not an unknown topic to you at all. And the last topic, material chemistry, is a general chemistry you have already studied, and it's a GK topic like EVS topic. It includes green chemistry, which is part of EVS. Hope you know all these things. So it's not difficult at all to make presentations in it. In fact, you can make it more interesting by combining your know-how in EVS and making slides for green chemistry. We have few, okay, but I want you to do it. Why? This is actually the learning you need to do. Many a times, this is what we lack sometimes, many times. In fact, you have knowledge, but you don't know how to present it. What to present and how to present are the skills that have to be learned very diligently all through. In fact, by the time you go out of the college, you need to have depth confidence. It is pulled up here. Begin now. And if I ask you to write the assignment, I know how you all write. You too know how you write your mid exams, and everyone scoring 18 plus or 17 plus means what? That's okay. But then things doesn't stop there. I want to show the presentations which you make to your juniors, or sometimes if they ask, I want to post it straight away. 4 members. Why 4? 2 you divide. 2 you divide. What is there? Same long topic instead, because everyone should get a scope to present. Yeah, Harshita, I'm talking to you. Make a presentation of 2 or not more than 2. 2 is always suggested.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay? You'll get confidence. See, a beginner is always very nascent. In fact, that's a beauty. I tell you. If you take a pic today and if you post it in your FB, and when you are going out of the college, you'll be taking so many snaps, and if you post it, there's a lot of physical transformation. But is the transformation only about your body on which you don't have much control? No, the discussion is about your brain and your other skills, verbal and non-verbal communication skills. Okay, it's a beginning. Okay, and it's a team effort. And in the first year, what you realize is that best teams are formed many times. Okay, it's a common thing which have been observed for years together in this college. So I'd suggest keep doing. Okay, nothing is really tough. You can do it. Everything is available on net, and you are very good browsers. I know that. Browse net so diligently. Now I want the presentation from you. If not, it's another boring stuff, writing assignment all together. I expect that even I've collected few videos which I want to show you on corrosion like that, and the PPT or pictorial presentations. But I want you also to be a part of it. So that what I just planned is I would finish corrosion by next Saturday. I should, in fact, that's a word. I should finish because of time constraint. So when I say because Saturday I don't think you have much classwork, after this class, why not we make one presentation? You can present, is it not? Or if you send to me, I'll make a presentation, whatever convenient possible, so that the chapter is revised in a pictorial way. That's what I'm expecting. Don't be hesitant. You can do it. Okay. Those who want to do presentations in the chapters that have already been dealt, okay, it will be like a revision. Fine. That's what I am expecting. Okay. So that you are interactive with me. If not, I'm really bored. That I'm just looking at the board and non-stop I'm teaching, And I think it's also equally boring to you, always just listening to the lecture after lecture, and everything is there in the net. What's the importance of this? In fact, now you should realize that
Ma'am?
personal interaction is everything. It speaks fathoms. In fact, sitting in a class, sitting with your teachers, faculty, and interacting, coming to the college itself, all are such pleasant experiences. Okay, that knowledge can be acquired now through all the modern facilities, but still, what it is all lacking is that interpersonal interactions, which everybody wants. Okay, it's a common thing that on social media we say we are giving messages to people just beside us instead of just going ahead and talking. Probably that is what is being realized like this. Okay, so let's take things positively and let's start interacting so that I don't know. I feel that I don't know. There's a batch, ECB batch I've taught once upon a time, and I don't know who they are. Neither I have seen them nor they saw me properly. Okay, I don't want that to happen because probably I'm a very old style lady. Without looking at students, teaching is such a very tough task for me. Actually, that's an exact word I want to put very clearly to you all. Okay, so because I want to see you some interaction, I thought this is a better way, and I want to know you all as well. Okay, so what your suggested is that he asked me to.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, in your team should have 2 members or 3 members, ma'am?
I would suggest 2. If you are having 3 also, no problem. Okay.
Another thing, ma'am, in unit 1 electrochemistry and batteries is there, ma'am. If we taking unit 1, we have to cover in a team total entire syllabus.
No, listen to me. Yeah. You asked a good question. Good question. Nice. See, PPT presentation for 5 minutes is not completely giving an overview of the chapter. No, divide yourself in a batch. See, this is what homework I want you to do. I don't know how you want to do it. I don't want to interfere into it. Why? It's a mess for me, actually. See, like-minded who want to do electrochemistry and batteries PPT. Batteries PPT is such a splendid happening thing and very important for ECE people. In fact, it has become an interdisciplinary aspect. Why? See, these people are making, actually it's known, mechatronics sort of a thing. Mechanical and electronics, very, very known one, like in robotics and all. Robotics is a multidisciplinary, of course. But here in mechatronics and all, they have a mechanical machinery to be, of course, installed with all electronic things. That's a base one. Okay, so sort of a thing now. And this e-vehicles have actually now revolutionizing the market. We know that. Now that's the next coming up thing. Okay, so these batteries, what are batteries? How you check what you're expecting from a battery? The discussion begins there, and you can just give the applications. Okay, what was the earlier concept and what is the latest happening around applications? Okay, it's interesting. And flash charging points now, instead of the petrol bunks are now are keen on having vehicles points for charging e-vehicles and flash charging. That means that the charging takes place in few minutes. Okay, so it's the discussion, and it's an interdisciplinary thing and very much happening. Probably why this is important is these topics which you are actually making an attempt to make a PPT are also important because there will be hackathons for coding. Coding competitions would be there. Like Smart India hackathons are very, very common. Even in the college, they are common. Probably White Hat Junior and all what they are showing on TVs and all these coding competitions. Such topics which you are choosing for presentation are also very much the problem statements for hackathons. Actually, you can choose the related things in the hackathons and really excel on it. Okay, what it all needs is having a good idea of what you are actually interested in. Okay, and what I am suggesting is the like-minded, those who want to do electrochemistry and batteries topic. It is a big topic, so a large chunk of the students, your batch can be part of those presentations. Okay, so that I expect you to revise the entire topic. The revision is not your job; it's my job. But see to it that most of the topics are covered. If they're not covered, don't worry. Okay, if they're not covered, don't worry. But it's better if you just make a presentation in such a way it actually has all the contents in a chapter. Don't leave major things. Okay, that's the only idea. See, like for example, what you have in your syllabus is an outdated polymer chemistry. Actually, the latest happenings research around is degradable, biodegradable polymers. In fact, that is also a part of the EVS topic, probably, I suppose. Okay. Probably disaster mitigation and all, which they will be teaching in EVS. Ham radios, when everything, communication systems, everything goes shattered in disasters, how people are able to communicate, this rescue people, army people, using ham radios, the technology around. Okay, that's what probably they might give a hint. But for you and all, you can, where it is applicable for us in a presentation, you can give. There's nothing. But I'm suggesting you to stick to the syllabus so that we don't diversify much. Okay, that's my idea. Means e-vehicles are important. If the presentation is on e-vehicles, it is nice, but still my focus would be on batteries of e-vehicles. Okay, so that's what I want to tell. If you want to choose a topic, you choose, nothing like that. But the application should have some context with our syllabus. That's what I mean. Okay, choose. Feel free, choose, and don't give a repetitive statement. It's like if everyone does the same thing, you will also feel bored. If you want to do more than one, nothing like that. Okay, that's what I want to say. So that it becomes a little more interactive. I want you to interact and give me the net result. And I don't want to interfere into it. Now it's your know-how, how you are going to make things so that you don't bore me. That's the exact word I can put. I think you have SOP program, social outreach program down the lane. When you're in 2-1 or 2-2 or 3-1, I don't know exactly for EC when it is. That means a social issue is taken and you will be making presentations on it. It's all like the same teamwork. So a class of 60 will decide what you're going to do, and you're not going to bore me, and the presentations made are relevant to the syllabus. That's what I want to say. Rest all is your activity. Now, if I dictate something, it doesn't look nice because choice should be yours. No, when if it's for grown-ups, then this is what it is. If you don't give, I will not say anything. It's not a punishment on you. I'll just cut the marks. Cutting marks is not for any punishment, but to tell you that my scope is this. That's what it is. This is assignment. Hope you have realized that. This is assignment and your PPTs are the proof for that. Get it? So making PPT is assignment 1 and presentation of PPT is assignment 2. One shot, 2 birds. Okay? Anything else you want me to tell you? Now, how you are forming a group, who is presenting what is up to you. I should not come into it. It doesn't make any sense, absolutely. You can do it.
When we have to give names, ma'am? When
you have to give names. Anytime. When you have to give presentations from next Saturday onwards. Next Saturday after the class, you will those teams which are giving presentations on corrosion are ready. They'll start presenting. 5 minutes, I think half an hour or 45 minutes, we'll conclude. I make nice PPTs, give one presentation, we shall record them. That's it. Next Saturday is a presentation time. When what? I'll record the presentation, I'll see the names, I'll see the roll numbers, I'll see the presentation, everyone would see. And we'll start giving the marks for that. Marks is not to deny you, it's only to estimate. Doesn't matter. Those who begin early have a chance for another time. That means by chance they have not, they felt they can upgrade themselves, they can again take a chance to present another topic. Those who are giving it the last, they have only one possibility. That's it. Because they won't be having the second chance to give improvised presentation. That's it. Okay, I shall start the class. I can't discuss much. If you have any queries, just get back and I shall now turn the camera to board and we shall conclude the dry corrosion topic. Please, quickly, we have to start. Okay, so I was talking about the dry corrosion topic, which is actually divided into 3 types. Oxidation corrosion, in which the metal is interacting with the atmospheric oxygen to form metal oxide. Okay, that's a very, very heavily, or I should say extensively studied type of dry corrosion, because oxygen is the most reactive gas which corrodes many of the metals at low or high temperatures. Okay, the reaction can be at low temperatures, like if you see there are certain explosions, they say small speck of water has left explosion. Okay, particularly because the heat of hydration is very, very high. 1A metals like lithium and all have such high heat of hydration that even in presence of small tracer amounts of moisture or any other reactive materials, they quickly tend to explode. That means the chemical reactions of this 1A metals with atmospheric oxygen is very, very high and at times explosive as well. Okay, and what you can also say that 1A and 2A metals are those which react very, very quickly with atmospheric oxygen, forming corresponding metal oxides. And usually this type of corrosion can take place even at low temperatures. Now you'd be asking, where is the practicality of this type of corrosion? When you see Western world or even in our Kashmir and all, where during winters and all, where the temperatures are very, very low, reasonably low as compared to other things. Okay, then do you expect that there is no corrosion at these places? Of course, there would be there, but the rate might vary because of the temperature. Okay, so the type of corrosion taking place in the case of 1A and 2A metals, these will be at low temperatures as well. You cannot imagine high temperatures because by that time they would explode. Okay, that's the point. The next thing is the corrosion of a few other metals will take place at high temperatures. Okay, and is the discussion. So what is happening when I'm talking about the first one, oxidation corrosion, metal is interacting with atmospheric oxygen to form metal oxide as the corrosion product. Okay, so let me put the heading. In dry corrosion topic, again I shall give the flow charts. Okay, and I shall talk to you about the mechanism of the dry corrosion as well. So what I'm talking is about the dry corrosion. Okay, in that I'm talking about the first one. Okay, A. oxidation corrosion. Oxidation corrosion, in which I have already told with you. In oxidation corrosion, metal is reacting with atmospheric oxygen to form metal oxide. Okay, metal is reacting with atmospheric oxygen to form metal oxide. So, metal, okay, it is reacting with oxygen to form metal oxide, which is nothing but the corrosion product. Okay, so that's the first point. Okay, so what's the second point we want to know is that how it all happens. What I've told you. Now, just listen and answer my question. Which is cathode and which is anode during this electrochemical reaction? Answer the question, kids. Roll number చెప్పండి ఎవడ ఆన్సర్ చెప్పండి ఇక్కడ ఒకటి పెద్ద ప్రాబ్లం నాకు. Okay, answer the question to yourselves.
Metal is cathode, ma'am.
Metal and metal oxide are there. Which is cathode, which is anode, and what is formed?
Metal is cathode, metal oxide is anode.
Metal is cathode is good. That's a point you got. Very good. Next. Tell me. Metal oxide ఇంకేముంది metal oxide?
At which the corrosion takes place anode.
గట్టిగా చెప్పండి.
At which the corrosion taking place anode.
Where? Please, boy.
At which the corrosion taking place, ma'am.
Yes, that sites at which the corrosion is taking place will act as
Anode.
Anode. So what is corrosion product? It is just a redox product. That's it. Okay. There, whenever the corrosion product is already formed, there is no more any reaction there. Got it? Because already it is there in the combined state. Okay. So I want to show that. So what I'll say, now here, what you'll understand, metal is cathode. So pure metal is cathode. Metal ion is anode. Metal ion is anode. Metal ion is formed due to loss of electrons. Loss of electron and acts as anode. And the metal oxide is the corrosion product. Metal oxide is the corrosion product. And after this metal oxide formation, it does not react. So it will not react. No reaction. Okay. That's the idea I want to tell you. Okay. Now, I want to write this as a chemical reaction. Okay. Okay. So what I say, chemical reaction of oxidation corrosion. Chemical reaction of oxidation corrosion. Okay, so what I want to say, metal has given electrons to form metal ions. These metal ions have reacted with oxygen to form metal oxide. So metal, loss of electrons to form metal ion, electrons, n electrons. Okay, so metal loses electrons to form metal ion. So what I want to say, like if silver is there, Ag will give Ag plus 1 electron. So 1 plus, n is equal to 1 here, n is equal to 1 here. If it is copper, copper gives copper 2 plus 2 electrons. Okay. If it is aluminium, aluminium Al3 plus 3 electrons. So in general, what I have written, M gives Mn plus n electrons. Okay. So oxidation and corrosion. Oxidation, anode and corrosion. Correct. Next. O2 reacts with. So here oxygen is undergoing reduction. Okay. O2 reacts with 2n electrons. Why? O is always 2 minus. So O2 reacts with 2n E electrons to form NO2 minus. NO2 minus. Okay, this O, let us make it little large. Okay. Now that combines with. I think I need to put it as n by 2 for balancing. 2. Why? Because we don't know what is the valency. So 2, because I know the valency of oxygen as 2 minus, I shall balance the equation like this. Okay. అర్థమవుతుందా చెప్పింది మెటల్ సిల్వర్ అవ్వచ్చు Ag ప్లస్ కింద కాపర్ అవ్వచ్చు 2 ప్లస్ ఆర్ జింక్ 2 ప్లస్ ఆర్ అల్యూమినియం అవ్వచ్చు 3 ప్లస్ సో దాని మెటల్ ఏదో నాకు తెలియదు కానీ ఆక్సిజన్ తెలుసు కదా ఆక్సిజన్ ఎప్పుడు ఏంటి O2 మైనస్ కదా సో ఆక్సిజన్ బ్యాలెన్స్ తెలుసు కాబట్టి ఈక్వేషన్ అలా బ్యాలెన్స్ చేస్తున్నా సో 2n gives Mn plus 2 electrons n by 2 O2 plus 2n electrons give n O2 minus ions. These are oxide ions. These are oxide ions. You write in your book. Chemical reactions is important. Okay. Video. Okay. Next what remains? 2m plus n by 2 O2 2m plus n by 2 O2 gives metal oxide. Two Mn plus and NO2 minus. And this is metal oxide corrosion product. Metal oxide corrosion product. Right? You're not able to see the board at all. Okay. Next point, what I want to say, oxidation corrosion. Oxidation corrosion takes place. Oxidation corrosion takes place at both high and low temperatures. At both high and low temperatures. Okay. At low temperatures, metals of, I should say, not like metals of one A, like lithium, sodium, potassium, etc. 2A, beryllium, calcium, strontium, etc. undergo corrosion. Okay. So, undergo corrosion. Whereas at high temperatures, most of the metals except noble metals corrode. Except noble metals corrode. That's a oxidation. That's the oxidation corrosion. And very important point is to do this. Okay, now the corrosion product, which is metal oxide, is generally initially a powder, but generally it will be in the form of a thin layer called scale. Okay, so what's the next important point you need to know is that the metal oxide, which is corrosion product, metal oxide, which is corrosion product, MO is metal oxide. Let me write it to avoid confusion. Okay, metal oxide is corrosion product. Metal oxide is corrosion product, and usually it is in the form of powder or a thin layer called scale, and is powder initially and forms scale later, or layer and forms layer. It's nothing but scale. Later it forms layer, which is called as scale. Okay. Now, that's an important point. Now, what will happen when once there is a scale formation on the metal surface? Okay. Now, let me show it little clearly to you all. That is pure metal. Okay. It has reacted with atmospheric oxygen due to formation of metal ion. Okay. So this is cathode. Okay, I'll write like this for clarity. So that is cathode. Pure metal is cathode. And the place where corrosion is taking place will act as this point where the corrosion is taking place will act as anode, where metal ion is formed and it is reacting with oxygen from air. Okay, to form metal oxide. Now metal oxide is formed. Okay, again how I need to show that's the metal which is cathode, and at this point the corrosion product is formed, which is metal oxide. Okay, initially it is in the powder state. If the corrosion keeps taking place rapidly on the surface, usually that is a scenario in the case of dry corrosion, the surface of the metal gets coated with a thin layer of the corrosion product, that is metal oxide. Okay, this layer which you are seeing on the top, okay, the thick line is nothing but metal oxide, which is the corrosion product. Okay, now I need to talk to you about the mechanism of dry corrosion. Initially, what will happen? The metal starts corroding at the surface and the metal oxide slowly gets deposited as powder, followed by forming a scale, okay, or layer. Now this metal oxide layer, when once it is formed, it acts as a protecting layer. It's very important to understand that. Why? For example, I'll get back to the famous example of putting power transmission lines. Okay, why aluminium is used exclusively for power transmission lines is that because aluminium, okay, will be undergoing corrosion very slowly. Is it not a common experience for us? Okay, why? Aluminium first undergoes corrosion quickly to form aluminium oxide as corrosion product, Al2O3. That corrosion product Al2O3, which is formed, will form a thin layer on its surface and hence will act as a protecting layer and does not allow corrosion to take place further. Okay, so the metal oxide layers that are deposited will act as protecting layers and will not allow further corrosion of the pure metal takes place. But there are certain corrosion products which are very dangerous and they increase the rate of corrosion. So how we can predict the rate of corrosion depending upon the metal oxide layer? If they are categorized into 2 types. Okay, 4 types. That's what we'll be studying right now. So, ఏమర్థమైంది ఇంతవరకు మెటల్ డ్రై కరోషన్ లో కరోడ్ అవుతున్నప్పుడు మేజర్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ కరోషన్ ఏంటి అంటే ఆక్సిడేషన్ కరోషన్. ఎలా అవుతుంది అంటే ఆక్సిడేషన్ కరోషన్ ని సబ్ హెడ్ గా ఎందుకు చదువుతున్నాను అంటే ఆక్సిజన్ ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది ఎయిర్ లో, అది మోస్ట్ రియాక్టివ్ గ్యాస్ కాబట్టి. ఓకే, చాలా మెటల్స్ ఆక్సిజన్ తో ఇంటరాక్ట్ అయ్యి కరోషన్ ప్రొడక్ట్స్ ఫామ్ చేస్తాయి కాబట్టి ఆక్సిడేషన్ కరోషన్ ని చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ హెడింగ్ కింద చదువుతాను డ్రై కరోషన్ ప్రాసెస్ లో. ఏం గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలి? ఎలక్ట్రోలైట్ కానీ మాయిశ్చర్ కానీ ఏది లేదు ఈ కరోషన్ లో. అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది? ప్యూర్ మెటల్ ఏదైతే ఉందో అది క్యాథోడ్ కింద ఉంటుంది. అది ఎప్పుడైతే కరోడ్ అవ్వడం మొదలవుతుందో అక్కడ ఆక్సిడేషన్ అయ్యి ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ పోయి అది యానోడ్ కింద యాక్ట్ చేస్తుంది. ఆ ఫామ్ అయిన మెటల్ అయాన్ ఏం చేస్తుంది? ఆక్సిజన్ తో రియాక్ట్ చేసి మెటల్ ఆక్సైడ్ ఫామ్ చేస్తుంది. సో కరోషన్ ప్రోడక్ట్ ఏదైతే మెటల్ ఆక్సైడ్ ఉందో అది ఫస్ట్ ఇనీషియల్ గా పౌడర్ లా ఉంటుంది. సరే, ఇంకా బాగా కరోషన్ అయితే ఓవర్ పీరియడ్ ఆఫ్ టైం ఏమవుతుంది, అదొక థిన్ లేయర్ కింద ఫామ్ అయిపోతుంది. ఓకే, ఎప్పుడైతే థిన్ లేయర్ ఫామ్ అయిందో మెటల్ మీద, అది ఎలా అంటే మన నోట్ బుక్స్ కి కవర్ వేసినట్టు ఏమవుతుంది, నోట్ బుక్ అంతే పెద్ద చంక్ నోట్ బుక్ ఉంటుంది, పైన బ్రౌన్ షీట్ ఎందుకు వేస్తాము అంటే దాన్ని అది వేర్ అండ్ టేర్ ని సస్టైన్ చేయడం. అలాగే ఇప్పుడు మెటల్ ఆక్సైడ్ లేయర్ ఏంటి, ఒక థిన్ లేయర్ కింద ఫామ్ అయ్యి అది ఫర్దర్ కరోషన్ ని అవ్వనీయకుండా చూస్తుంది. సరే, అయితే అది అన్ని మెటల్స్ కి ఒకటేనా అంటే కాదు. కొన్ని మెటల్స్ ఏది నికెల్ కానీ క్రోమియం కానీ అల్యూమినియం కానీ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో అలాంటి మెటల్స్ ఏదైతే ఆక్సైడ్ ఫిలిం ఫామ్ అయిందో అది ప్రొటెక్ట్ చేస్తుంది. అన్ని విషయాల్లో అలా కాదు. ఫస్ట్ 1A గ్రూప్ మెటల్స్ ఉన్నాయనుకోండి, అది మెటల్ ఆక్సైడ్ లేయర్ ఏమీ ప్రొటెక్ట్ చేయదు, ఫర్దర్ కరోషన్ అవుతున్నా అది ఏమీ హెల్ప్ చేయదు. కొన్ని మెటల్స్ ఉన్నాయి, ఎలాంటివి, గోల్డ్, సిల్వర్, ప్లాటినం, పెల్లేడియం, ఇవన్నీ ఎందుకు నోబుల్ మెటల్స్ అంటున్నాం, ఎందుకు గోల్డ్ కాస్ట్ అంత హైగా ఉంటుంది అంటే గోల్డ్ డస్ నాట్ రియాక్ట్ విత్ అట్మాస్ఫియరిక్ ఆక్సిజన్. By chance, if it is reacting, it forms unstable metal oxide and the pure metal comes back right again. That means that's the reason why if you wear gold, okay, still it does not show any change in the color at all, even if you wear it for years together. Why? Because it's a noble metal. Why it is a noble metal? Because gold is one such metal, when it reacts with the atmospheric gases, will form unstable compounds. These formed compounds will give back the pure gold again, and hence literally there won't be any corrosion with such metal. But this metal like called molybdenum metal. Molybdenum, when once it reacts with atmospheric oxygen, it forms molybdenum oxide, which is a volatile compound. Okay, and what will happen? As and when molybdenum is reacting with atmospheric oxygen, the molybdenum oxide form will keep evaporating, just like a camphor ball at our house. ఏముంది, ఆర్తికర్పూరం పెట్టావు, కొన్ని రోజులు అవుతూనే ఫట్ మనీ అసలు ఎక్కడుందా అని అనుకుంటావు, ఎందుకు, అది ఇవాపరేట్ అయిపోతూ ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి. అలానే మాలిబ్డినం కూడా. సో ఈ మెటల్ ఆక్సైడ్ ఏవైతే ఫామ్ అయ్యాయో యాజ్ లేయర్స్, okay, they can be classified into 4 types, and we can predict the further reactivity of oxygen or metal with the atmospheric condition. And hence the next topic which is very important and which has to be understood is that the types of metal oxide layers. Okay, please take this classification. Okay, types of metal oxide layers. Types of metal oxide layers. There are 4 types. First one, stable, non-porous, stable, non-porous. Examples: aluminium, nickel, chromium, tungsten, etc. Right? The way I am giving it to you. Important. Are you able to see the board clearly? The classification?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Stable, non-porous, just like what I have told you right now. Stable and non-porous, aluminium or nickel, chromium, we know, are stainless steel vessels. Though they are made of iron and other alloys of iron like nickel, chromium, etc. Why nickel and chromium are chosen? Okay, why? The idea is least corrosion possible. Why? They undergo corrosion to form corrosion products, that is nickel oxide, chromium oxide or aluminum oxide, which form a thin layer on the pure metal and will not allow further corrosion to take place. Okay. Hello kids, you know, did you ever see store wells, not the Godrej store wells and all, Birwa. Okay, what they do, they'll coat a red color spray on the store wells before they start painting the color we like. Did you ever see, observe it? Chusara? Enti, yesa, nona, ido cheppandi. మోమంటా అప్పుడు చూసా, అప్పుడు రోజు అలా వెళ్తుంటే అక్కడ ఏదో ఎటో ఎవరినో చూద్దాం అనుకోపోయి సడన్ గా గోద్రేజ్ బీరువా అని చూసానని చెప్తాం. అది సినిమా కూడా వచ్చినట్టుంది కదా అక్కడ. ఓకే, ఎందుకు? అదే కాంపౌండ్స్ నే స్ప్రే చేస్తారు కరోషన్ కంట్రోల్ మెథడ్ లాగా. ఎందుకు? ఏదైతే ఫిలిం ఫామ్ అయిందో ఇట్ ఈస్ స్టేబుల్, నాన్ పోరస్, ఇట్ విల్ నాట్ అలౌ ఫర్దర్ ఆక్సిజన్ టు creep into the pure metal and hence will act as a protecting layer on the pure metal. So the examples of non-porous stable metal oxides, metals are aluminum, nickel, chromium, tungsten, etc. Now what's the beauty? The metals will show a property called as passivity. Passivity entante, you might expect that this metal might undergo corrosion very, very quickly. But suddenly you'll realize that no, it is not undergoing corrosion that rapidly as expected. Why? Why? Because the metal oxide layers are stable and non-porous. They are not allowing the further corrosion to take place. The practical application I've told you, the power transmission lines made of aluminum and aluminum oxide cores. That's the application. Aluminum being used for power transmission lines. Aluminum used for power transmission lines. That's the application. Okay. Now the second one is unstable metal oxide layers. Just hold on. Yeah, unstable metal oxide layers. Okay, the metal oxide layers that are formed in the case of noble metals like gold, silver, platinum, palladium, rhodium, etc. Okay, noble metals. Why? The metal reacts with oxygen to form metal oxide, but the metal oxide is unstable. It's a reversible reaction. It quickly gives back the pure metal. Okay, so metal remains pure and it is not undergoing any corrosion. So what do you say? Unstable metal oxide layer, here stable non-porous metal oxide. Metal oxide layer. The description is all about metal oxide layer. Unstable metal oxide layer, no corrosion of pure metal. No corrosion of pure metal. Okay, and the metal remains uncorroded. And these metals are called as noble metals because they do not suffer much corrosion at all. Okay, and are very, very expensive. Okay, next, the third type of corrosion is volatile. That is, the metal oxide layer is volatile, very high corrosion takes place. Very high corrosion. Why? Because the metal oxide form quickly starts evaporating. Okay. Example is molybdenum oxide, MoO3. Is the board clear to you all? MoO3. No, this metal oxide evaporates and leaves the pure metal very, very susceptible to corrosion. Okay, the third type. What's the fourth one? Fourth one is reactive porous. Did you take this? I need to change the board, please. Did you take all this table clearly? Okay, I'll write to this side. Did you write this all? This is important to remember. Okay. Okay. Now I'll write to this side. Please check. The fourth one is porous and reactive. Porous and reactive. So what will happen? In this case, the metal oxide layers of the 1A, 2A group. Metal oxide layers of 1A, 2A group. What will happen? The corrosion takes place uninterrupted. Corrosion takes place uninterrupted. And this is the type of corrosion. Okay, fourth one. Metal oxide layers of 1A, 2A. Hope you have written in a, not like me, in a regular way. I should have really written in a proper way. Sorry. Okay. You have understood everyone in Japan. Metal oxide layer stable aithe non-porous ga untundi. Adi passivity chupistayi. Adi unstable anko mana gold, silver laga. Silver corrosion chloride to avutundi. Oxygen to avadu. ఒకవేళ గోల్డ్ కానీ సిల్వర్ కానీ అట్మాస్ఫియరిక్ ఆక్సిజన్ తో రియాక్ట్ అయ్యి మెటల్ ఆక్సైడ్ ఫామ్ అయితే అది అన్స్టేబుల్, మళ్ళీ రివర్స్ రియాక్షన్ అయిపోయి ప్యూర్ గోల్డ్ కానీ సిల్వర్ కానీ వచ్చేస్తుంది. కనిపిస్తుందా? మీరు ఎవరు అసలు ఏదైనా రాసినా కూడా హాయిగా చూసి కాపీ పేస్ట్ చేస్తున్నారా, నోట్స్ నాకు నిద్రపోతున్నారా, లేదా మీరే పీపీటీ చేయడం మొదలెట్టేశారా? నెక్స్ట్ వోలటైల్ అంటే molybdenum oxide. ఏమవుతుంది? మెటల్ ఇస్ రియాక్టింగ్ విత్ అట్మాస్ఫియరిక్ ఆక్సిజన్ టు ఫార్మ్ మెటల్ ఆక్సైడ్. ఆ ఫార్మ్ అయిన మెటల్ ఆక్సైడ్ ఇవాపరేట్ అయిపోతూ ఉంటుంది. నెక్స్ట్ పోరస్ ఇంకా రియాక్టివ్. ఏమవుతుంది? ఇప్పుడు ఇదే చెప్పాను చూడు, 1A, 2A మెటల్స్ ఏమవుతాయి? అట్మాస్ఫియరిక్ ఆక్సిజన్ తో రియాక్ట్ అయ్యి ఏమవుతుంది? మెటల్ ఆక్సైడ్ ఫార్మ్ చేస్తుంది. ఆ ఫార్మ్ అయిన మెటల్ ఆక్సైడ్ లేయర్ ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే అన్ని హోల్సే. దానిలోంచి ఆక్సిజన్ వెళ్ళి ఫర్దర్ మెటల్ కరోషన్ ని హెల్ప్ చేస్తాయి. ఓకే, అండ్ హెన్స్ కరోషన్ టేక్స్ ప్లేస్ uninterrupted. That's what we need to find. How to predict the rate of corrosion? The rate of corrosion is predicted using a See, I spoke to you for more than 20 minutes, 15 minutes. So I need that 15 minutes time to finish this topic. Okay, please be patient. Okay, the rate of corrosion is predicted using a rule called Pilling-Bedworth rule, which gives what is called as specific volume ratio. Okay, so the next thought is the rate of corrosion can be predicted. Rate of corrosion can be predicted by a rule called as Pilling-Bedworth rule. Pilling-Bedworth rule. By a rule called as Pilling-Bedworth rule, which gives specific volume ratio. Specific volume ratio. Using specific volume ratio. That's a nice word. Nice line. Using specific volume ratio. Okay, so what is this specific volume ratio? The specific volume ratio is equal to specific, is the board clear? Specific volume ratio is equal to the ratio of metal oxide to the volume of the fused metal. Volume of metal oxide to the volume of fused metal. Volume of metal oxide to the volume of the fused metal. Okay. Now what is your guess? I think you're snoring. Are you snoring?
No, ma'am.
No? But how could I am able to listen? Huh? Okay. Now, what actually this Pilling-Bedworth rule will help us tell? You have to tell me. Okay? What and how? Just answer my question. When will the specific volume ratio be less than 1?
When volume of metal oxide is very low, then the volume of pure.
Huh? Sound ఎక్కువ పెట్టా చెప్పు. When? Hello? Hello?
Volume of metal oxide is less than the volume of pure metal.
Less than the volume of pure metal. Okay? Correct. Now, when will the specific volume ratio is equal to 1?
Both are equal.
Both are equal. When will the specific volume ratio is more than 1?
When volume of pure metal is more than the volume of metal oxide.
More than 1.
Volume of metal oxide more than volume of pure metal.
That's it. Okay. Now, how this Pillingbedt-Worth rule is helping us to predict the rate of corrosion? What this rule says that if the volume of metal oxide formed on the surface of the metal is more than or equal to the volume of the metal formed, then the oxide layer is protective and non-porous. If the volume of metal oxide layer formed on the surface of the metal is less than the volume of the pure metal, then the oxide layer is generally non-protective and porous. Okay, and hence is the discussion. What nonsense it is. This is one of the rules, but why I've asked you to understand this is, see, it is not completely true that half the metal has underwent corrosion. What he will say? The rate of corrosion is less when the metal oxide layer is stable and non-porous. Okay. When the metal oxide layer is stable and non-porous and the rate of corrosion is less, then the specific volume ratio is greater than 1 or equal to 1. If the specific volume ratio is less than 1, that is metal oxide layer is less and the pure metal is more, then what he says, the rate of corrosion is high because the metal oxide layer is porous. That's it. That's how we'll predict the rate of corrosion. So what do you say? Case 1. Case 1. Okay. Case 1. If specific volume ratio is equal or more than 1, this I can write like this. Instead of writing the huge handwriting there, rate of corrosion high, metal oxide layer is stable and protected. Now can I refine this? Can I write specific volume ratio equal to or greater than 1? I should turn like this. 1 is less. Greater than 1. High rate of corrosion. Stable. Low rate of corrosion. Sorry, low rate of is low. That means already half the metal has gone. Low rate of corrosion. Stable and non-porous metal oxide layer. Stable and non-porous metal oxide layer. If case 2, case 2, is specific volume ratio if specific volume ratio is less than 1. High corrosion, metal oxide layer porous. Metal oxide layer is porous. Okay. Okay, did you write this point clearly? Okay. Now, if that is over, I'll conclude the class in another 5 minutes time. Please. 11:30 we should wind it up. It's high time. అర్థమైపోయిందా? Can I ask a question? Okay. I have one more. Okay. So that's the discussion. Fine. Now, the next one is, it's a small topic. What's the other type of corrosion that is expected? Reaction with other gases. Corrosion due to reaction with other gases. Right. The heading P. Dry corrosion due to metal, corrosion due to other gases. Corrosion due to other gases. So what are the other gases that are generally reacting? Corrosion due to other gases. Usually the gases reacting are Cl2, F2, H2S, carbon dioxide, oxides of sulfur and nitrogen. Oxides of sulfur and nitrogen. The other gases generally react. So why you need to study this? So listen, they say now that eighth wonder. What's the eighth wonder in our country? What is a wonderful monument in our country? Ramachandra.
Taj Mahal.
Hello. Huh? You don't want to answer this question? I'm hurt now. I took it that you're sleeping, all sleeping. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and okadve yes anta. My friends andare nidar poyara. Amma girls. Hello, good morning. What is the eighth spectacular monument of our country? Spectacular monument of country, which is the eighth wonder of the world. You're not able to understand my questions. My questions, is it? Hey, oh, Ramachandra, what's this? No, I'll not give attendance today. This is the thing.
Ramappa temple, ma'am.
Ente?
Statue of Unity.
Swaminarayan Akshardham.
కాదురా బాబు మన దేశంలో okay, I think 3 languages is better, which is the 8th wonder of the world that is present in our country. First question. Okay, in తెలుగులో ఏంటంటే మన దేశంలో ఉన్న ప్రపంచపు 8వ అద్భుతం ఏంటి?
Statue of Unity.
There are only 7 wonders, no teacher.
Statue of Liberty ఏంట్రా బాబు, అది అమెరికాలో ఉంది.
Akshardham.
Unity, ma'am.
చిన్ని తలకాయ.
Teacher, there are only 7 wonders, no teacher.
Only 7th.
Swaminarayan Akshardham temple.
Sorry. Okay. What's the 7th wonder?
Taj Mahal.
Taj Mahal. Correct. It's the 8th wonder?
Akshardham temple.
You choose it as Akshardham. If you say the latest Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel statue. 8th wonder is our class. You all are sleeping and I am teaching. And I am unknowingly, in spite of you all sleeping, enjoying. I am one lady, I don't know. I am feeling that I am teaching to the best lot of the world. That's the 8th wonder of our country. Okay, sorry. I'll get back. I just wanted to make you alert. I don't know which is the 8th wonderful, not world. You should not say Akshardham temple or Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel statue are not 8th in the world. I'm talking about, if you're talking about international rating, then it might be under competition for the 8th position, but there's only 7 wonders in the world and Taj Mahal is the latest. Okay, what's the 8th wonder? We don't know. But when you're talking about our country, you should not say that. Why? Because in our country, Taj Mahal stands first. We don't know what's the next rating. Akshardham temple, I'm not sure. Or now this Vallabhbhai Patel statue of Unity, I don't know. But that's not the 8th one. They stand. Taj Mahal stands 1. The rest I don't know. If you know it, just get back. Okay. Now I'll conclude in 1 minute or 2 minutes time. Are you listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what you need to know is, just hold on. Let me get back. Where is this? Okay. So, I'll just give a flow chart and that concludes dry corrosion. Two more topics. So, the corrosion due to other gases can also be studied just like what we have studied for oxidation corrosion. Okay. So, what you should realize is that initially the corrosion compounds can be powder deposits, or it could be any, the metal might undergo into a solution if they are soluble, okay, or they will form layers. There is a huge possibility that in this case also the corrosion products can form layers, okay, and the corrosion products can be again stable, non-porous, porous, unstable, and volatile. Okay. And if you're talking about the corrosion films, which are non-porous. Okay. Non-porous corrosion films are sulfide black color film on the silver. Okay. What you will realize is that this whole silver does not becomes black. The thin layer of silver chloride that is formed will act as a protecting layer and will not allow the further corrosion of silver to take place. And hence, the corrosion product formed, silver chloride and silver sulfide, are stable and protected. Whereas, in the case of tin reacting with atmospheric chlorine to form tin tetrachloride, SnCl4, it is volatile. In very small time, what you'll realize is that the whole tin metal has evaporated in the presence of chlorine gas as the reactant. You should be careful when you're keeping tin in the atmosphere of chlorine. Should be careful. Or when you're when the operations are being done which contain good amount of chlorine gas, tin metal should be perfectly avoided. Should be careful about it. That's the idea. Okay. Next, what about the porous metal oxide layers, corrosion layers are iron sulfide that is formed in petrochemical industry. Yesterday, I've already told you, during the extraction of crude oil or petroleum, H2S gas is the main contaminant. What it does, it reacts with the iron of the machinery to form iron sulfide as the corrosion product. Now, this iron sulfide layer is porous and will support further corrosion, and hence the other examples. Okay. So let's write that, and I can finish the topic. Okay. So what do you say? Corrosion of metal is directly proportional to the affinity with the gas present in air. Corrosion of metal is directly proportional to affinity with the gas present in air. Okay. Silver, just now I've told, it forms unstable metal oxide layer, but it forms very stable chloride film. That means what you have understood, silver is less reactive to oxygen, but more reactive to chlorine present in the air, and hence the product. So the corrosion product is a layer can be into three categories again: stable, non-porous, which makes the metal passive. Okay, stable, non-porous, less corrosion, passivity. Example, silver chloride film. Silver chloride forms a black film. Okay, next, porous layer, reactive, more corrosion. Example is F2S. Okay, iron sulfide that is formed in the metallurgical extraction of in the petrochemical industry. That's the right word I can put. Okay, or FES. FES, iron sulfide. Iron sulfide formed in petrochemical industry. Petrochemical industry. Reaction of machinery with H2S gas. Next, volatile. Volatile, you have thin tetrachloride, SnCl4. Okay, metal undergoes very high corrosion. Metal undergoes very high corrosion. That finishes corrosion due to other gases. Are you taking this? If not, the notes will be very, very confusing. What's the third one? See, liquid metal corrosion. Liquid metal corrosion. Told you, I've hit the eighth wonder because I know your patience might have been lost before only. But this is what I'm teaching you. You need to pull up your patience because of time constraint. And this finishes. I'll take that in.
Ma'am, we do have a class, ma'am, now.
At what time?
12.
At what time? 12. I'll take. This is over now. What is liquid metal corrosion? Corrosion that is taking place due to chemical action of flowing liquid metal at high temperatures. Okay. Liquid metal corrosion. Chemical reaction taking place when liquid metal reacts with metals of machinery reacts with metals of machinery. Of instruments. Example, in nuclear reactors, sodium corrodes the equipment. Okay. Example, in nuclear reactor, sodium metal corrodes the metals of the equipment. That finishes right. You write the example for this. In metal in nuclear reactors, sodium metal corrodes the metals of the equipment, particularly cadmium rods. It will corrode, forming the rod. That finishes right off. 61, 62,
Present, ma'am.
Present, ma'am. 61.
63,